welcome back to the channel. Today you find me on an absolutely spectacular spring morning, and it is days like today that make me glad that I got into biking all those years ago. Daffodils in full bloom, nice clear sky, the sun is shining, and everything just seems that little bit more cheery. So today it's a great day to be out on the Harley Davidson Lowrider ST. I'm going to give a quick review video of this bike. It will be a bit of a condensed view today because I only have it for a short period of time. So I'll try and fit as much as I can into my review. But if you'd like to see what my thoughts are to the bike, jump on the pillion seat and I'll take you all for a ride. The bike is powered by a Milwaukee 8 117 high output motor, which is a 1923cc V-twin. The gearbox is a 6-speed manual. The exhaust is a 2-into-1 system. The fuel tank has an 18.9 litre capacity. We have the left indicator, the horn and the cruise control on the left, and on the right hand side you've got the hazards, the start button, the traction control and right indicator. The speedo is analog. There is a small screen which shows your fuel and the rider mode which you have selected along with the time. The bike weighs in at 323 kilos. The front forks are a single cartridge 43mm inverted aluminium fork with triple clamps. The front brakes have twin discs and 4 piston calipers. Rear brakes are a single disc with a twin pot caliper. The front wheels and the rear wheels are both black cast aluminium. The front headlight and the indicators are both LED. The rear lights and indicators are also LED. The seat height is 715mm. You have a choice of colours from grey, black, orange, white or blue. The bike is belt driven. The bike comes with an FXRT inspired fairing. The bike comes with twin hard panniers fitted and it provides 0.56 metres cubed of storage capacity. So here's a quick demonstration on how easy it is to manoeuvre the Lowrider ST. As you can see, kick it off the stand and it's got a surprisingly tight turning circle, so it will be a bike which is easy to live with and manoeuvre in and out of the garage. Right, let's give the acceleration test a go, shall we? So here we go. National speed limit. So the acceleration is absolutely amazing. It's really surprising how nimble the Lowrider ST is. It's so quick to turn and it handles the bends really well. I'm very surprised, I've got to say. I expected it to be a bit heavy and cumbersome, but no, absolutely not, completely the opposite. I would say it's somewhere more towards a naked or a sports tourer kind of handling, which this bike, for the size of it, the agility of it, is very, very good. Even through the town traffic, this bike is surprisingly nimble. It's the weight just disappears. It's straight. It's listed at about 327 kilos or something. But once you're riding on this, it disappears. It can feel like a 100 kilo bike. It's really, really good. And as I say, just to whiz in and out of traffic, it doesn't feel like you're riding something big and lazy and stupid to turn. It feels reactive and nice and responsive. So that's definitely a plus. So I've spent the morning and the early afternoon getting to know the Harley Davidson Lowrider ST. And I've got to say, I've got mixed feelings about the bike. There's some things which I really, really like, and there's other things which I'm not keen on, and there's a couple of things which I definitely do not like. So let's have a chat about what I like and what I don't like. First up, definitely do not like the throttle control. There's a lot of movement in it. It kind of feels disconnected, in my opinion, to the handlebars and doesn't inspire a lot of confidence. It's very, very different from any other Harley which I've ridden before. So that is definitely something which I'm not a fan of. Secondly, the tank here, this metal kind of stripe or proportion which goes up the centre there, again, to me, that's visually anyway, it doesn't add anything to the bike whatsoever. It really does detract from the look of the bike. I'm guessing that it's probably hiding some kind of gubbins underneath there, I don't know. But for me, that would be something I don't think the bike needs. Probably, if it was my bike to keep, I'd probably look at mounting my phone on there just because that would be a good location for it. But for me, get rid of that, definitely. Next up, on this particular bike, is the engine note. I don't know whether there is something wrong with it or this is what they sound like now, because it definitely does not sound like a Harley. The only way I can describe it is an old VW Beetle, that kind of tinny, tappety sound. It really sounds strange, and it does not make you think of a Harley Davidson, the raw power, the deep throaty burble. It's just like I say, like a tinny, a tappety sound, and I mean, for me, it's not great at all. Like, it really doesn't sound good. So if that's what they're sounding like now, that will kind of be a turn off for me, I think, going forward. But next up on the I do not like list, and I imagine a lot of people would say this number plate here, I do not know where that idea came from, because that is absolutely horrendous. That is such an eyesore, it's such a shame. I mean, personally, I don't see why it can't just go down at the bottom there underneath the light, like my street bob, look a million times better. There, it's bizarre in my opinion. I think that definitely would have to go instantly the moment I bought one of these bikes, because that is an eyesore. So next up on my list of things I do not like is the exhaust. Now, I'm pretty much always going to say that on a Harley, a modern Harley anyway, because that really affects the way the Harley sounds, and they're renowned for having that deep, burbly sound, something which is recognisable. These modern exhausts, which obviously it's done for the Euro emissions, or I'm hoping that's the reason it's done for, they're rubbish. They really are bad. I can't say anything good about them. I like to hear a Harley if I'm riding it, and that definitely detracts. So I do not like the exhaust. So enough of what I do not like about the Harley Lowrider ST, and let's have a chat about what I do like. First up is the colour of this bike, and it's the paintwork more than the colour. The metallic paintwork pops and glistens in the sunlight. It is absolutely phenomenal. The depth of colour on there is just superb. I really, really think that is a very nice finish. And I also very much approve of the Harley Davidson badge here. It kind of harks back to the old days when they wouldn't have been big and bulky and stuck on the side, kind of more like a sign writer would have done back in the day. I really, really like that. I think that is so in keeping. The next thing which I really like is the handling of this bike. The handling is absolutely superb. It will tip into a corner, hold a bend, give you full confidence at all times. It is an absolutely phenomenal bike to ride around twisties. It's so surprising because when you look at the bike, you see it's such a big lump. You would expect it to be slow and cumbersome, but it's the complete opposite of that. You can really throw this bike into a bend and have confidence that this bike is going to stick all the way through that bend, and you'll have a smile on your face. At no point have I ever gone into a corner or a bend or a series of bends and thought, this feels a bit dodgy. This inspires confidence, this bike. The chassis, the setup straight out of the box is absolutely a winner. Next up on things which I like, the gearbox. I really do like Harley Davidson gearboxes because it's a positive clonk into gear and a clonk up gear. You know you're in gear when you've hit it. It's always a positive change, and that's something which I always do like. It's agricultural, I know, and feels old school. It isn't refined, or most people like quick shifters these days. I prefer the old style. A big clonk, you know it's in gear, and away you go. So that's definitely a thumbs up from me. Also, something which I like on the bike is the handlebar layout. It's not overcrowded. You've got the buttons and the controls which you need. There's nothing more there. I absolutely hate handlebars where they've got a million buttons and you're looking around trying to find the one you need. This is nice and stripped back, basic, the bare essentials, and it's a great layout in my opinion. So I said I wasn't a fan of the sound of the engine, and I'm definitely not. But one thing I am a fan of is the torque of this engine. It's such a different feeling to riding a sports bike or a more sports focused bike. The torque is what pulls you along, and it's a strange sensation when you're riding. It feels like you've got no throttle on at all, yet you're accelerating, and it's such a kind of laid back way of riding that it's another way to enjoy your ride at higher speed, but not be feeling like you're absolutely revving the nuts off the bike. So the engine overall is really, really good. It's just the sound for some reason isn't the best. Another thing which I like is the panniers on this one. It really does give you the option of loading them up and going off on a nice tour, but you've also got the benefit of a sweet handling bike with plenty of power, so you're not feeling like you're riding a big stupid tourer or a big stupid cruiser. It feels refined and enjoyable to ride. They're really easy to use. There's a lock on there, but also the handle there, just flick it and it falls open. There's plenty of storage in there. They're absolutely ideal. Close it, press the lock down, done. I find that the screen is really good. It keeps a lot of wind shear off your face. It's also got the mouth at the front, which then reduces the buffeting on your helmet. I've had it on the motorway at about 70, and I personally thought it was really good. It did a good job. It performed as it should do. I've ridden plenty of bikes and I own bikes myself with much bigger screens, and I find them so much more uncomfortable. It just creates a load of buffeting for your helmet. I didn't find this one did that, so that's another thumbs up from me. So next up is the comfort of the bike. I really find the seat is absolutely superb. Raises up a little bit at the back to just give you a bit of support, but the actual seat, you sink into it, which is something I definitely like. A lot of modern bikes now, the seats are too hard, they're like an ironing board. This is nice and comfortable, and you can sit in it for hour after hour, I think no issue whatsoever. So a few things which I would change about the bike if it was mine. The handlebars, I would try and get a riser or some way of just bringing them towards you, maybe another inch. I think that would make a big difference because I found my arms are virtually straight. So I think that would make a difference if you could just bring those back a little bit, and that would make the ride even more enjoyable. Obviously the exhaust, I've said that previously, that would go, it'd be a Vance and Hines system no doubt on there. The pegs and the controls, I would want forward controls. The mid controls, I just find them too cramped, so I'll definitely put them further forward. So I'm going to hit the road again now and enjoy the last couple of hours of this afternoon on the Harley Davidson Lowrider ST, and I'll catch up with you all later and let you know what my final thoughts are on this bike. Well, I'm just coming up to 13 bends, and that really is probably a good place to sum up this bike, because the dynamism, the flickability of this bike is unreal for its size. It really has no business being as good as what it is. It's really blown my mind. A bike of this size, of this weight, the weight just disappears as soon as you set off riding, and it just feels like you could be on a 120 kilo bike. It is bizarre where the weight disappears to. You can throw it into corners unlike most big bikes I've ever ridden, and you'll just feel absolutely planted. The acceleration of the engine, well, as we saw in the acceleration test, there's not much going to beat that off the line, and I definitely wasn't even at full power doing that, and there was only a few seconds up to the national speed limit. The bonus of this bike, having the panniers, means you can load them up and shoot off for a weekend away, taking all your creature comforts, yet the ride up to your location or your destination will be as much fun as if you was on a naked bike or a sports bike. It genuinely would be that good. Now, I've said there's a few things which I would change: the foot pegs, the exhaust, the rear number plate, all needs to be changed in my opinion to make this bike absolutely suited to my riding preference, and also I think for the way I'd like the bike to look. But that means spending money on the bike, and when it's cost £22,000, it's one of them. It's kind of hard to swallow, chucking more money at the bike. I think I need more time with the bike to get a full rounded picture and really get an opinion of the bike which is cemented in my mind, because having it for such a short period, you really are limited on what you can do and how you can test the bike out. But it has definitely pleased me, and it's definitely been an enjoyable bike to ride. Now, I would be keen to hear off any Harley Lowrider ST owners to find out what these bikes are like to live with long term. For me, I think it would be even a great bike around town. I personally didn't find it an issue in traffic or at slow speed, which again harks back to how manoeuvrable this bike is and how light once you start riding it feels. But it would be good to hear off any owners to find out if there's any quirks which kind of kick in after a while of ownership, or whether there's any downfalls or faults with the bikes which you don't really hear about until after you've owned one and ridden one for a while. If you're looking at buying a Harley Lowrider, drop a comment below and let me know any questions you may have on the bike, and I'll do my best to answer you. I really hope you've enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe below. Remember to keep it shiny side up, and I'll see you all in the next one.